Hi, so I'm going to quickly show you how to use PuTTY on Windows in order to download data from the Air Quality Eggs SD card. The first thing you need to do is plug the egg into your computer and determine what the COM port is that is assigned by Windows. To do that, you go to Device Manager by clicking on the Windows logo and typing in Device Manager, and then click on Device Manager in the list. You'll see a tree of devices that show up. Under the Ports, COM, and LPT section, expand it, and you should see something that says USB serial port with a COM number in parentheses. So just take note of that COM number. For me, it's COM5. Then launch PuTTY. You can get PuTTY from the internet if you just open Google and type in PuTTY download. I usually click on the third link here that says latest release, Chiark. And if you click on that, you can scroll down to alternative binary files, or if you want to install it in Windows, you can choose the one that's appropriate for your operating system, probably a 64-bit, but you can also download just putty.exe without doing any installer, which is what I usually do. So I did that already. I have PuTTY.exe on my desktop. And again, you don't have to install this, but you may if you like. If you launch PuTTY, it'll ask you if you want to run it. Just choose yes. It'll show a window like this. And to talk to the air quality, you'll choose Serial as the option. In the Serial line, you'll type in the COM number that you found under Device Manager. Change the speed to 115200. Then under the session area, click on Logging and say you'd like to log all session output. Then click the Browse button and select a place you want the log file to be generated. I usually choose my desktop. And then you can give that file a name, so you can call it mylog.txt, for example. Click Save. You'll see that file path is displayed there. Then you can click on Session again, and you can name the session so that next time you don't have to do all those steps. You can just choose to restore the settings that you previously recorded. So I can call this My Settings, and then I can click Save. And so now there's a thing called My Settings here. And to launch PuTTY with these settings, I can just double click on My Settings or click Settings and open, either way. So if I double click it, it'll open up a terminal like this, and you'll see output from the command line of the air quality egg. First thing you'll do is, while that countdown is happening, you'll type AQE enter, and that should get you into config mode. You see the AQE prompt gets displayed. And if you type list space files, then you can actually get a report of all the files that are on the SD card. They're named by convention year, month, day, hour, 2 digits each. And so this egg that I've plugged in doesn't actually have a real-time clock installed, so every time it starts up it thinks it's 1970 January 1st, and so that's why you see only one file here. But in order to actually download the data from these files, you use the download command, and the download command accepts 2 arguments, essentially what is a starting file name and an ending file name. So you can type download. For me, I'm going to type 70:01:01:00 until, let's just say, 70:01:01:01. For you, you'd put in 2 dates that were a range of dates that you wanted to download, and you hit enter, and it actually just streams output to the screen like that. Now it looks kind of funny, it's not like in a straight line, but when you open this up in a text file, it'll actually look fine. So once this finishes downloading, you'll see a message that says info done downloading, and you can then close PuTTY at that point. And then you see on the desktop here a file got created called mylog.txt, and if you actually open that up with like Notepad, for example, you'll see all of the session that you had there reflected here, and that's a little bit weird. What is that about? Let's pause the recording here. Sorry for that brief interruption. So you can take that mylog file and you can drag it into something like Excel. I'm going to use LibreOffice Calc, which is a free equivalent. And so I can drag that into the spreadsheet, and it comes up with this dialog that says text import. You can check the boxes for tab and comma and semicolon. It doesn't really matter. The only thing you really need is comma. So I'll just demonstrate that. Tab and comma. If you click OK on that, then all that text content gets brought into the spreadsheet. And you can see down here, starting around line 124, you end up with the data nicely chopped up into rows and columns. And you can delete all the stuff that happens in the front, and you can delete all the stuff that happens in the end. And then you end up with something that looks more like just a data file. And you can see the timestamps are in here as well. So your timestamps will obviously be more reasonable and contemporary than these. So I think that covers what it takes to download data from the air quality egg using PuTTY. For the most part, it really should work to just use the air quality egg serial configurator. But if you have to in a pinch, then you can use PuTTY in the way I've described. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.